Been through days, I pray to never go back to make the brokenness look at bad too. I go back for life.
Welcome to the Giving Voices podcast. Today we'll be speaking to our guest Olu, but before we move on, let's start by introducing ourselves. Start with you, Alex.
I'm Alex. I'm 24 years old. I'm a university student studying popular music performance as a drummer, and I do sing as well as write songs.
My name is Victory. I'm currently studying electrical engineering in uni, and I also own an ad agency, Lead House.
My name is Dylan. I'm an online fitness coach, and I study sports science at uni.
My name is Olu. I'm 30 something. I run a business. I manage a business in the facilities management, which involves risk management, security, events management. I have other businesses that I've started in the property game, and I am a business director for a CIC company that we're sitting in now.
And my name is Bruno. I'm 19. I own a social media management agency, also a uni student. And so the first question was going to be, tell us what industry you're in. Well, obviously you've answered that question. So one question I have is, how did you end up making it? Actually, before I ask that question, I want to say, which one is your main one? So what's got like more than 50% of your focus on?
The answer to the question, they all have to have my attention.
Yeah.
They all have to have my attention, but the first one that started was the security, the facilities industry.
And how did you end up making the choice to start security? Was it something you always had in mind and you worked towards?
Yeah.
Or did it kind of come to you eventually throughout your time?
Okay, security wasn't always in my criteria, to be honest. It was doing a full-time job, then doing something part-time. The part-time took over the full-time, and then you start using the full-time experience and then start saying, well, the full-time's actually giving me the business acumen to then start the part-time and expand it into a full-time. It's then started off into security fully, then it started to diverse into facilities. Facilities means you facilitate in all different type of areas of business. So it could be, for example, you go into Selfridges, it doesn't have one shop, it has multiple shops, but it's a one-stop shop. That's what facilities management is about. So we diverse into different divisions. So events, concierge, security, events, private security, mobile security, but on the whole, it's facilities management. And it started growing gradually as just the time I was putting in. The more you put in, the what I was getting more back, and then it builds that hunger.
Okay, so I'm guessing you did start as a security guard, right?
No.
Oh, then what did you start as?
My full-time role at the time was a business manager in a bank.
Yeah.
So from wearing a suit to then wearing boots.
Yeah.
You know, so it's totally different industries.
That's very surprising. So you went from working in a bank to owning a whole security.
Yeah, well, it's I didn't necessarily own it. It found me, but what I was doing was working in the bank, then going home, have my food, do whatever, put my super clothes on, dress like Blade, going out in the night, and then on working as security for different companies. So over the years, I worked for at least maybe 4 different companies. So I took on the role as a door supervisor, then took on the role as a security manager, then concierge, then dabbled into commercial cleaning, and then what you end up doing is taking a piece of everything and then making it your home.
Yeah, so what was the biggest sign that there was an opportunity there for like having a huge career?
I was a challenge for the companies. I would implement ideas. It was a challenge. No, they wouldn't do it. I would implement structure. They wouldn't do it. I would implement ways of expanding. They wouldn't do it. So, but to me, as a business manager, working in a corporate company, they've already made all the mistakes. Why wouldn't you listen to the ideas that I'm bringing from a corporate level into a private company? Because they've already fell over, they've already grazed their knees, they've already made all the errors, and you take it and make it your own. So eventually I was fighting against people that was running their own business, but they didn't want to change. They didn't want to get with the modern way or the simplest way or working smarter and harder. So I then started to left the companies on a peaceful way, and then started, okay, now I need to sit down, pen and paper, and start drafting out what I want to do and how I want to do it. And that's the way that stuck to me since. So back to your question, it's I use their mistakes for my success.
Okay. And you was trying to implement what you learned. You was trying to show them what's best for them, but they didn't want to listen. So you just left and then,
Yeah.
implement.
So I'll give you 2 examples.
Yeah.
One example was, because I worked in the industry for so long, I knew a lot of contacts. They will say, Olu, I want you managing my venue, or can you train my staff, or can you find me somebody who's like you? Then I will go back to the company I'm working with. Okay, there's this client who would like to utilize me, and I'm willing to train the staff in the way I operate. Or there's a client that wants security services. I've just overheard, or they've called me and say, oh, this client needs his new security company. Then I'll approach the director and say, are you interested in taking it? Yeah, you'll take it. Then I will be there for 2-3 weeks, train the staff, put them in position, deploy them around their premises, coordinate with the owner of that premises. Are you happy with the change and everything else? Yeah. Then the owner would then contact the company. Yeah, we love this guy. We like the way he operates. Then I'll move on to the next and leave my position that I was with that venue and educate somebody else to just take it over. Then I'll move to another one. But eventually I gave him an offer. I said, I will either give me a position in the business, which was the position would be like operations director, or I'll buy half into the business with what I provide and what I have provided. I said I'll give him 3 months. He chose not to take it. After 3 months, and I saw somebody else in the position that I wanted. I said, okay, it didn't work. So then what I did was I gradually said, let's give our respects to each other and go our separate ways. Then 2 months after, I was approached by some friends that they wanted to set up a company. I said, okay, we're all on the table. Let's all put every positions down, what we're going to do. Out of everybody, how many people do you think helped and carried it on? There was talking, but there's actually doing. We was all talking, but how many do you think was doing? There's 5 on the table. Nobody.
No one.
Nobody. So I then take it forward and approached one of the probably roughest premises in Birmingham area, and just manned it from start to finish. So it built up from having 2 staff to then 4 staff to then 6, then 8, and that became for a year long one of the main clubs to go to. Then that was a business here now. It started from starting something with the roughest club, everything else becomes a bit easier.
Do you think having a group, having friends to help you, I'm going off of what you said about your friends, having friends, like having a small group that are into the same thing as you, do you think that is important to start a business or just succeed in being an entrepreneur?
It's important to have friends around you because everyone's got their own opinion and everyone's got their own skills. but not manage you, because everyone's either doing their own work, and there will be some that will be doing no work. So out of, let's say, 5 people, you probably end up with 2 who's actually on the same level, but it's okay. Their path, their speed is them. Your path, your speed is you. So whoever perseveres through is the people that's gonna create it. You know, but it's good to have friends that, you know, this gentleman here could be an accountant. He could be a social media. You know, he could be a trainer. So, but together on a table, you're powerful because everyone's got their skills. It all depends who can bring things to the table. That's what it's about. And if you ain't part of the table, then what have you come with?
That's very great to hear, to be honest, because like Keenan, Victory, me, and another friend of ours that was supposed to be here but he couldn't make it. That's the approach that we've tried to take. All looking to kind of help each other level up in each individual industry that we're in, and then eventually bond together and make a company. Right. Still in the planning process, but I do believe that hopefully it will still be all of us there by the time we have a company.
There's a stage to it. Friends are not business.
Yeah.
Say again?
Friends are not business.
Yeah, 100%. You see, that's the approach that I try to take, because Teenan, well, Victory, I see him a lot. We're very good friends from childhood. Teenan, however, we met in basketball, but we weren't always like, we weren't friends like going out together and stuff like that. Arif, the other guy, met him literally through Teenan.
I just met him in the gym.
Yeah, so I thought instead of, and then Victory as well, he is my friend, he's starting to show signs that he could help us a lot. So we're looking to get him in the group as well. So we try to take that approach. Don't just rely on friends, rely on people that are actually willing to do the work. So that's why we decided to make this group. But tell me, obviously, because it took years to get where you are. The question is, step by step from working in the bank to where you are now, what were the main things that got you there?
One of the main things, I'll tell you all the things actually. It took me, I failed, I made mistakes. I made mistakes. I risked my health, I've risked time. I risked kind of just be alone, because you're on your own journey. It's taken sacrifice and changing habits, and also being scared to do things that you're not used to doing, but it's a good scared and it's a good nervous, because either your palms are sweaty, or you keep asking questions, or you keep making excuses. Excuses is a form of fear. You're kind of telling yourself that you can't. There's no such word as can't. You can. You can just try. So all these obstacles are what you're going to go through. You're going to go through all of them, and you've got to drive through each one. So from working in the bank to having a part-time job in the security industry, to going from one company to another company to another company. You know, one you get sacked, one you just walk out, one because you're late, one because you're uniform, one because you're just not getting on with somebody. All of these are lessons of mistakes that you've made, but you've got to use each one and shape yourself up to be a sharp tool. Because I've made every single mistake, but I've made it my mistake now that I know not to do. And then I can explain to somebody why you keep turning up with a hoodie on, when the best way to be on a job, if you're smart, you never go wrong by being smart. But if you dress down, you can't change that. If you're smart, just take your tie off, then you look casual. You know, so if you keep being late, the boss, the car, the taxi. How many more excuses to you say, you know what, I need to be there an hour early? They're all excuses that you'll make, but you've got to think. Allow the excuses. Start preparing a lot more. You know, you're a PT. Imagine if your client's there and you're not there. What excuse have you got? You've got to think, you know what, I've got to be there before my client, prep my program, deliver to the client, then, you know, think about next step to carry on and so on. So after leaving the companies, I also, how do I say it now? I've been in a court situation as well, because my industry is regulated by the Security Industry Authority, which is called the SIA. If you do something wrong, you've got the regulations in your back, and you have to get your compliance sorted. You know, like if you're training, you need insurance. You train other people, you need insurance. So I've made the mistakes, gone into as deep waters that I can, and I thought, you know what, this is what I need to start learning, how to work. Then I fell out with a business partner, and how that happened was I started my own business. The company I used to work for, because I dominated a certain area of Birmingham, they dominated another side of the area of Birmingham. They said, Olu, let's merge. Okay, it's more work for my staff, it's more work for their staff, but because they've been around for so long, I wanted to kind of learn the journey that they've been on. Mine was so short but so impactful. They were so long, but they dominated through compliance. So let me learn their compliance. Let me learn their path of clients that they've had. Like, for example, you remember Farm Foods, Iceland, Gap. They had all these clients under their portfolio. I had venues. So with the commercial side of clients, with the leisure side merging, then you become a bigger company. Fast forward over the time, things didn't work. Sometimes it won't. But then I took their learning and made it mine. Then I started my business now. Coming to 4 years, I've superseded their business because of what I was saying before. Everyone's learnings, everyone's mistakes, and they just made it mine. Now it just kind of created a monster of what my company is about now.
How would you say you got over the fear of failure? 'Cause I feel like that's something that stops people starting to begin with.
Yeah.
Because with business in general, life in general, everything is up and down.
Yeah.
But I feel like fear of failure is like how low can low get. So how would you say you got over that fear?
Fear of there's different types of fears. There's fear of not having no money. There's fear of not having no time. There's fear of conflict. There's fear of you're just breaking. You can't. To be honest, it's part of a feeling that you need to overcome. Fear is one of them. You know, I've got no superpowers or one to say you're not gonna have fear today. It's just something that's just gonna happen. But it's good to feel it, but then you know how to make yourself better out of it. So if I had a fear of not having no money.
Like I said before, like people to get started on things, people are scared of how low can get.
Yeah.
You know, fear of losing money, fear of not having any money, not being able to support themselves, their families. So how do you think someone is able to get over that fear and go after what they need to go after?
One is having options and backups. If one fails, go for option 2, go for plan B, C, D, and ask for advice, because you've come to a hurdle that you can't overcome. So ask for advice on how to overcome it, and what did they do, like you're doing now. And research yourself, give yourself find answers for yourself. There's 2 sides of failure. There's failure to fail, or there's failure to succeed. So you can choose one. If you want to succeed, find your options, find out how to overcome it. Train yourself in thinking, okay, I've come to a situation now. I'm going to panic, but I'm also going to find out, or I'm going to panic and I'm just going to sit down and do nothing about it. Give yourself options.
Been through days I pray to never go back to. Make the brokenness look at bad too. I go back for life.